Yes, Equalizers is RSS back again with another collaboration video with Equalize. This month is Black History Month in the States, so I thought it would be a good idea to do a video talking about songs and albums that are pro-black and that represent black power. There are a lot of songs out there that kind of represent the pain and the struggle that we go through as black people in society. However, I thought it would be a good idea and something positive to talk about the strength and the growth and the positivity of being a black man in today's age, and talking about what we can do and who we are and being proud of us as well. So, the first track that I'm going to be talking about that represents black power is Dave's famous track, Black. I've been listening to Dave for the past 5-6 years when he first released Jekyll and Hyde and Tiago Silva in 2016. And from then on, he's been an artist that I've always kept my eye on, always wanted to know when his music was being released because he's very conscious in his rap. He's also someone who seems very educated and very knowledgeable, and every year that goes by, he becomes more wise and more understanding of who he is as a rapper and what he wants to speak about in his music, which is something that can be very powerful in today's age. The track was actually released as a single, teasing the album Psychodrama, which came after it. And it was something that really caught people by surprise in around that time because it wasn't a song that people expected Dave to release, even though it was something that was actually coincidentally perfectly timed in terms of what was going on in London and in society, especially towards black people around that time. Santan's first bars on the track starts off with him saying, "Black is beautiful, black is excellent. Black is pain, black is joy, black is evident." And from there, you just know what he's going to be talking about in the track. He continues on going on about, the trials and tribulations and the struggles of being black. But he also speaks about the strength in it and talking about understanding where we came from, understanding why we're here and why we were put in this situation, why we have these disadvantages, and being able to grow from it and make us even bigger and better than they actually expect us to be in society. Obviously, there's a lot of understanding that there's a lot of issues that really diminishes us and makes us difficult to progress in life. But those difficulties and those issues will become strength in his eyes, and it kind of was inspiring to hear in such a track. When the track was actually released, there was a lot of talk about people saying that it was an anti-white song and it was disrespectful and disgraceful to white people, etc. But it really just showed me that a lot of people are just very uneducated and really didn't even listen to the track because, if anything, it's just a pro-black track that tries to empower our own people and try and let them know that as much as there's so many disadvantages and so many issues in society that holds us down, there's so many representations of people that have been able to go through that and push through and be even more successful than they would have ever been in such a time. And just being able to build strength and build courage from that is something that is represented in the track. And that's why I feel like it's a song that everyone should really listen to and a song that everyone should try and really get an understanding of what Dave is talking about. The next track is another UK album teaser, but from the grime artist Gets and his collaboration track IC3 with Skepta. I've been listening to Gets and Skepta for the past 10 years now. And with Gets specifically, he's an artist just like Dave, who is very conscious, very knowledgeable, and also really is clever with the bars and the way he spits. And even with his previous projects, i.e. both Ghetto Gospels and his latest one that he released just recently, Conflict of Interest, there's always a black concept to it, which I really enjoy and I'm really able to connect with as a black man myself. In IC3, both Gets and Skepta talk a lot about us being kings and queens from where we're from, and still being kings and queens to this day, and being able to go back to where we're from, going back to our hometown, embracing our culture, but specifically investing in it and putting money into where we are from, because a lot of what started and a lot of the issues and the disadvantages came from the invasion of other people coming into where we're from. So what's good now that we have the opportunity to really go back to where we're from and invest and put money into it and help our economy in that way. I think the chorus says everything about the track, as both artists start saying, "Look in the mirror, I see king, I see me. I see who, I see what, I see free." Which is just so powerful in those words if you really understand what he's talking about and what he's trying to represent from that. There are bars from both artists that really touch home with me, including the chorus. but one specific one from Gets where he says, "Don't tell me go back where I came from, while the queen sits there in stolen jewels. Cool, I'll go back with a chain on and light up the place like Akon," which pays homage to Akon and what he's been doing in Africa in recent years, but also sheds light on the British Empire and how they actually accumulated their riches. All in all, the song is a true representation of Black power, and it also is a guideline in terms of what we should be doing as Black people in our privileged situation, wherever we're living now, being able to go back to our home country and going back to where we're from, immerse ourselves in that culture, and also be able to invest and put money into it, as that's the way that we'll be able to change generations to come in those specific countries. So the first album that I'm going to be talking about that represents Black power is arguably one of my favorite albums of all time by, I believe, the best rapper of all time, which is Kendrick Lamar, and his fourth album, To Pimp a Butterfly. K-Dot is a rapper that I've been listening to since his Section 80 days in 2014. And since then, he hasn't released a project or an album that's been below excellent, in my opinion. And that's why I believe he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. And with this album specifically, it touched me in so many ways with the tracks that were on it. And even though I listened to it a lot when it first came out, I listened to it even more last year with the death of George Floyd and what was going on with Black Lives Matter. And it was one that really I connected with over time, which just shows how great it was as an album. Every single song on the album has a discussion or a storyline behind the struggles and the strength in the struggle of being a Black man in the States. Obviously, I've never lived in the States myself, but it was still so many songs that I was able to resonate with and that I was really able to understand and gain power and gain strength from, which is the whole purpose of the album. And I think if you're able to feel that the way that I do, I feel like it just shows the power and the strength in such a project. In all honesty, I would have to say you should listen to the whole album in its entirety to really get a true understanding of how I feel when I listen to it. But if you want to know certain songs or certain parts of the songs that you should listen to specifically, I would say listen to All Right and The Blacker the Berry, as they're both songs that are representing being proud to be Black. I would say you should listen to Mortal Man, especially the skit at the end where there's an interview with Tupac where he talks a lot about what he was going through as a famous Black man in the 90s and the issues that he was able to overcome and the situations that he foresaw that happened actually as of recent. And also listen to Mama, as that's a track that I believe is a true representation of getting to know who you are and going back to where you're from and being able to reap the benefits. So the final album I'll be talking about that represents Black power is the great Joey Badass's album, All-American Badass. I've known Joey for about 5 years now, and even though he's very well known for his commercial hits, i.e. Devastated, he's always been a conscious rapper in my eyes, and I feel like this album in 2017 that he released is a true representation of his conscious side, especially when it comes to the album name itself. Like, he spells America with 3 Ks, and I feel like if you just see that, you already know the message of the album and you already have an understanding of what he's going to be talking about in it. Even though there are a lot of tracks on the album that are cons of being Black in such a society, especially in the States, there's a lot of pros to it as well that he mentions in terms of him being able to build a community and being able to be a part of something that's a lot bigger than what he ever thought there would be in terms of making music and being able to help the people in and around him as well, financially, getting out of the hood, and so many other things that were represented in the album as well. And I do feel like the album, even though there are definitely parts where you could say, yeah, it doesn't really feel as if he's talking about the good or the positivity of being Black in America. If you really listen to the likes of Land of the Free, if you listen to All American, if you listen to Legendary, which is featuring J. Cole, those are songs where you really get a true understanding of being Black in such a society and how there are a lot of pros to it as well, and the way he's been able to help his community immediately, but also other Black people in and around the States and around the world, really, becoming empowered and being able to build something is very strong. If you want to find out more songs that has that pro-Black feeling or albums that represent Black power, click in the link in the description or in the bio of my Facebook, Instagram or Twitter page, And from there, you'll be able to find a blog that has all the songs and albums that I've mentioned in this video, plus songs and albums that might be there for a bit more of the pain and the struggle, but it's really there for the educational side so people can get an understanding and a feeling of what we have to go through as black people and what we need to overcome in order for us to be in the situation that we're in now, and also to reap the benefits of that as well. So all in all, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for watching.